You've heard of the hairy bikers. We present the hairy hunter. Roy has a break from his birds to bag a roe for the freezer.
How very, very dare you?
The British clay shooting season has started and we're at the first of the majors, the Essex Masters.
I mean, you've got to have a go at it, haven't you?
Terry Doe is instructing a young shot on how to get the best from his airgun.
How good are you?
How good you say I am.
And staying on airguns, James Head from airgun shop Crackshot offers his top tips on pumps. David is on the news stump with the latest Fieldsports news. We have news of the latest episode of Farming Britain, and James has the latest YouTube hunting films in this week's Hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. All the signs say Roy, and yet it doesn't quite look like Roy.
Where's Roy? Not be talking. It's me.
You in disguise?
Well, in disguise. Listen very carefully. I shall say this only once.
His incredibly grey and lustrous goatee is definitely here for a few months at least, as his breeding falcons won't accept a smooth-shaven version of the Lupton turning up to the dance.
You wouldn't have thought they'd find me attractive, but it takes all sorts.
Let's hope it works on the roebucks. And here we have one, spotted through the hedge line. Not a long-distance stalk, but Roy needs a buck on the deck and food in the freezer.
We've got a young roebuck just out here. I don't know if we're going to take him or not. I want to have a quick look first. So I just... Very nice easy stalk. We're just going to creep around the edge of this hedge. Hopefully we'll find a few more. I'm not... although David's very, very hungry and he's asked to take a carcass home. As I say, I want to assess him first before we put him on the barbecue.
However, kitting up is not quite as slick as normal.
The good thing is, he'll have probably cast and grown another head by the time we get there. Shut up. I hope you're enjoying the weather. Beautiful day, isn't it? I don't actually want to shoot him. I'm hoping he's going to disappear by the time we get there.
Strangely enough, once Roy is finally ready, the buck has got bored and left this particular field.
We probably pushed our luck a little bit. There was a roebuck here about 2 minutes ago. He's gone.
Luckily, there are two more on the far edge.
But there's another couple further up, about 400 or 500 yards, so we're just going to head up to the top of the field and come down on top of them. David might end up with something for his barbecue, yeah.
Barbecue? I thought about barbecue.
What's that?
Barbecue's a bit premature. You know.
Barbecue, this is perfect barbecue weather's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. It's just so nice to be out like this, isn't it? Absolutely glorious compared to the weather we have been getting. And I have grown web feet over the last few months. This is just absolutely superb. This isn't actually a beard, this is mould. They're going to come into view, but they've got no backstop. Stay still. That's a shame, both of those were absolutely perfect cull animals. But there was just no backstop at all, so they'd obviously made their way into the field. I'm just going to go over this way a little bit more because there was that other buck that we saw earlier on. He might have come out or he might just be feeding below, so we'll see if he's still in play. But yeah, as I say, those two were absolutely perfect cull animals.
We continue our loop, heading to the spot we'd started. We spook the original buck out of the cover of the hedge line, and Roy has to make a quick assessment.
That is quite good. Oh no, it's poor on that side. So that was the buck that we saw initially. I don't like the way that hit went actually. So it didn't sound like a good thud. But that was the buck we saw initially. He was a bit further than I thought. And I looked at him going down. Initially I thought he was quite good, but his left-hand side antler was good. His right-hand side antler was very poor. So I was just checking him as he went through, and then it stopped again. So we had a shot, but as I say, that was a little bit further than I thought it was.
Oh, wasn't far at all.
We find the buck 20 yards into the wood.
He's quite a quirky fella. He's not what I thought. Well, he is and he isn't. He's a little bit older than I thought, but again, interesting little head on him. Where he's only got a fork, he's got another little beam coming out just at the back on the top of his head. And I think David will be especially happy. It means he can feed his family again, bless him.
Hold on a second, did he gut shoot?
Really?
Are you giving me the gut shot one?
Really? Do you think that's gut shot, dear?
No, I don't know.
How very, very dare you? What? Look at that, beautiful. Not a blemish, sir. Not a blemish.
You said it how old he is. Does that mean he's going to be tough as old boots?
I'm not going to give you a prime one, am I? God knows. You've been ignoring me for God knows how long.
What do you mean?
Huh?
You've been busy.
You put me in a cupboard, let me go mouldy, and then you're like, can we go and do something? Okay, come on then. You know, yeah. I have feelings, you know. I have feelings. It's just, you know, I feel like it was just one of those phone calls where you had an itch that you needed to scratch. It was just, yeah, let's phone up an ex and.
Oh my God. Yeah, can we see the shot, please?
If you'd like to see the shot, there you go.
Okay.
Please examine the shot, sir. You're not eating it now. I'm having that one. I'm pleased with that because
Long shot, wasn't it?
Sorry.
It was a long shot.
Yeah, no, I was. Yeah, as I say, we were. I was contemplating it, and as I say, when I saw that he had a bit of an uneven head, then I decided to take the shot a little bit late. And as I say, I'd allowed for the distance, but it was about 300 rather than 250. So, but perfect. He's in the larder, and David won't go hungry, which is always good because he's looking a little bit peaky actually. You're feeling a bit gaunt around the old chops. You need to
grow a goatee.
You should, exactly. Mine is just to cover up the 3 chins. No. Right, let's get that one on, and I think we need to go and get a couple more because I want to eat as well.
Roy, like many managing ground, has had a tricky winter. The weather has hampered his cull plan.
It was incredibly difficult trying to do all of the doe cull that we wanted to do and try and get on top of all the fallow as well, just because it was so wet, so extraction was a real issue. So numbers are high, but obviously, yeah, your main population is always managed by removing the females rather than the bucks, but obviously if we get a chance to take out some of the poorer animals pre-rut, then that's always good, and they're not passing their genetics on. Hopefully it'll be less poor bucks, or yeah, more of a selection of good bucks to pick from in the years coming up. So yeah, and it's just lovely being out, isn't it? Absolutely stunning. So after the weather we have had, to be out on an afternoon like this, it is just absolutely glorious. Apart from the midges, we have got beastie bloody midges absolutely feasting on us at the moment. I hope they get cholesterol issues after they've sucked my blood.
With David catered for, Roy now needs to find some venison for Charlie and Alfie, who are helping him with the bird breeding. Unfortunately, the right animal doesn't present itself.
It was fun. It was lovely to see you again, David. Nice to have you out again, and hopefully I'll see you within the next 12 months.
It's another excuse to get back out into the Hampshire countryside when his breeding falcons allow. Thanks, Roy. Now, in this week's Fieldsports Extra, we have a Labrador that retrieves deer, a young shot in action, and more about what makes Roy Lupton attractive to his birds.
Well, I mean, my Roma is quite devastating.
We're giving away a £200 scope from Discovery Optics, which has a good quality illuminated reticle. You can see it here. There's a link to the scope below and a link to my unboxing review of it too. Easiest way to win it is to watch Fieldsports Extra, which goes out the night before this show, only to Fieldsports members, and is now with insurance. Easiest way to watch Fieldsports Extra is to join those members. The Fieldsports Nation will send you a goodie box. Our insurance covers you for legal issues over certificate renewal, and all members with or without insurance get free access to our FAB Fieldsports Advice Bureau. Layla the lawyer is there to help you with Fieldsports related issues. We have put out this explainer video, link to it below. Next up, you're going to have to trust him this week because the Givergy website where so many of you entered the draw for the Fair F-A-I-R shotgun. And it has given us a winner. Here with it is David on the Fieldsports channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. There's new hope in Scotland that a change in power sharing between the SNP and the Greens and a new SNP leader could benefit the rural community. According to the Countryside Alliance, the resignation of Scotland's First Minister Humza Yousaf could mean an end to a government that forced through policy and legislation which ignored the needs of rural communities, including pointless regulation on hounds, gun dogs, grouse moors and the destruction of deer herds.
So the names in the running are Kate Forbes has been mentioned, John Swinney's been mentioned again, and some of these have a real affiliation with the Scottish countryside and those who work in rural Scotland. So potentially there could be some positives to take out of this. I think a real positive is the break with the Greens, with the Butte House agreement being dissolved. However, what we've got to make sure is that no new agreement is put in place to try to regain power, and that's something that we have to really seriously consider and remember.
Hounds from the Berwickshire, one of Scotland's leading hunts, have left for France to allow them to keep hunting. It's one of the results of the Scottish Government making hunting with hounds illegal in Scotland. Advised by aunties on what to ban, the Scottish Parliament voted in 2023 to pass a new Hunting with Dogs Scotland bill, 20 years after it passed a similar bill that it believes failed to stop fox hunting. The new law includes a ban on trail hunting, the pursuit of an animal scent laid by a human, although it allows hunting under licence. The Berwickshire has to vacate its kennels and has relocated the majority of hounds, around 10 couple. It'll become a drag hunt. The hounds it sent to France were surplus to requirement as a result of those changes. Hunt staff drove the hounds from Scotland to their new home, where they will go straight into action with a French hunt.
Apart from the obvious tragedy of the entire episode, there's a part of us that, whilst terribly sad, is happy that those hounds will continue to do what they were bred to do and continue to hunt in France. They're foxhounds. The clue's in the name. Vive la chasse!
Two new films about gamekeepers highlight the issues Scotland's countryside is facing. The Last Keeper premiered in London and Scotland, made by American director Tom Upright, looks at Scottish sporting estates' battle for survival. You can see our story about it in the link below. The other short film, Gamekeeper Returns to Langham Moor, by Scotland's regional moorland groups, comes with a plea to politicians not to ignore the needs of people and wildlife. It features gamekeeper Jamie Smith returning to the famous Langham Moor 4 years after the start of a rewilding project created by a community buyout of the land. Here's the filmmaker, Kirk Norbury.
Taking gamekeepers out of the landscape can have on its moorlands and its ecosystem. And people need to be more aware of that. They need to see that, how that happens to not only wildlife, but what that does to rural communities. That's a message that's happening across Scotland at the moment. And with land reform on the horizon, we need politicians to really listen to gamekeepers more, because the skills that they have are invaluable for land management across Scotland.
Have you ever wondered what happens to your spent cartridges? The answer is they might end up being shredded and turned into park benches. Our film about Lincolnshire-based AgriCycle has more than 750,000 views. Others are doing it too. Friends Henry Harrison and Ed Medforth set up a business to recycle the plastic casings, and they've now processed more than 138 million of them. H&M Recycling, based in North Yorkshire, receives used cartridges from clay and regular shoots all over the UK. Their machinery removes the brass, shreds the plastic, and both are sent to be repurposed. The plastic has been used to make garden furniture and plastic drain pipes.
We know that a lot of the shoot grounds, they just send them to landfill. So we thought, let's try, see if we can provide a service and recycle the cartridges somehow.
A new falconry school is set to open in Dorset. Bobby King, aged just 22, is setting up the new school to train others how to fly and hunt with birds of prey. Bobby has taken teaching qualifications to pass on the skills she learned when she first started flying birds of prey at the age of 16. She has 17 birds of her own, ranging from barn owls to Harris hawks and kestrels. She does flying demonstrations at country shows, schools and care homes for the elderly. Her school will be open to anyone who owns a Raptor and who wants to learn how to fly it and take care of it. Anglesea's protected population of red squirrels is under threat. The Red Squirrel Trust says there are now at least 10 grey squirrels that have established a colony on the Welsh island, leading to fears that decades of conservation work by local airgunners will be undone. The indigenous reds are vulnerable to squirrel pox, a fatal disease carried by non-native greys, which has largely wiped out the UK population. Anglesea is one of the few pockets of reds left. As well as shooting them, genetic testing is now underway on the greys to establish how the population has spread. The fishing world has seen 3 incredible captures across the globe this week. First, Naomi Turner caught the largest carp ever landed by an angler in UK waters with a 72-pound, 12-ounce fish captured from Holme Fen Fishery in Cambridgeshire. Next, Darren Wrights hadn't had a bite for 14 hours during a catfish session in Essex, when this monster took his bait. At 134 pounds, it's believed to be the largest fish caught on rod and line in freshwater in the UK, and it could become a new British record. And how about this fish from Patagonia? It's a Chinook salmon, estimated at 30 kilos, about 70 pounds. It's believed to be the biggest Chinook caught in South America. The fight to protect wapiti deer in New Zealand has taken a new turn. Introduced to New Zealand in the early 1900s, the wapiti is under threat after New Zealand's Department of Forest and Bird decided the deer should be completely removed from its national parks. Now the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation hopes that changing the status of the herd could help protect the animals. Hunters have been controlling these deer for generations.
We've had a couple more developments that have happened over the last few days. We have a legislation in New Zealand called Herds of Special Interest, and Herds of Special Interest are something that are supported by legislation in New Zealand. Now, there is not a herd of special interest in New Zealand, so for us to protect the wapiti, the scrap's going to go towards us pushing for the wapiti to become a herd of special interest. So that kind of takes them into a part of law that you can manage them for game, and that can be managed in national parks in New Zealand.
And finally, it's time to announce the winner of this Italian-made Fair Premier EM shotgun that we at Fieldsports Channel have been raffling throughout April. The gun is priced at £1,200 and the tickets cost a £5. We ran the raffle on the Givergy website, and halfway through the month, Stripe said it would stop taking payments because it's a shotgun. We made the last tickets free on the website, but you had to settle a bill for them, which we sent out. Despite the difficulties, we sold more than 200 tickets, and we are putting the funds raised towards Fieldsports News. And the winner is Peter Couch from Weston-super-Mare in Somerset. Peter, enjoy your prize. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. And at David's request, please can you like and subscribe under this film? David deserves it because he has been working on the latest Farming Britain episode presented by Charlotte Ashley. It's all teeth and talons, featuring the harrowing story of one sheep farmer's torment by sea eagles, which have taken hundreds of his lambs.
It's absolute sin. Absolutely sin.
And there's sheep-proofing your dog with farmer Tobin Bird, who takes a German Shepherd with a strong prey drive and within half an hour achieves this.
If there's something furry to chase or woolly to chase, they'll be off.
There's a link to Farming Britain below. Next, back to the fine art of shooting straight, it's the Essex Masters. Browning shooter and AAA shot Nick Hendrick from Derbyshire won the coveted Essex Gun Masters competition at the weekend. It wasn't an easy win. Shot over 2 courses of 100 targets each in a single day, the Essex is a marathon rather than a sprint.
It's hard work because there isn't a competition like it where you shoot 100, quick break and go out and do another 100. And it's more than twice as hard to shoot 200 bird course as well. So it's just basically keeping your focus, and it's quite difficult.
The competition runs all week at Hepworth Hall near Halstead in Essex. It's seen as the big one that kicks off the UK's sporting competition circuit each year. This year's event is missing a few familiar faces. Neville J from sponsors Essex Gun was unable to attend, for one. It has still attracted hundreds of shooters from across the UK and beyond. Nick shot an impressive 97 out of 100 on both courses for a total of 194 out of 200. All week the top shots battled to catch his score. A few came close, with big names such as Richard Folds, Mark Windsor, Jamie Brightman and Guy Franklin falling just 2 or 3 short. There were some impressive performances in the categories and classes too. 15-year-old Fern Lancaster chose to enter the ladies category rather than the colts.
On the red course I shot 89 and then on the black course I shot 87, so 176 overall, so I was very pleased. Stand 13 on the red course on the last stand, there was an orange teal and then a really low white crosser. It was very hard. I only shot one unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, you've got to have a go at it, haven't you? So yeah, you've got to learn.
By lunchtime on the final day, it all still hangs in the balance. Billy Bourne and Martin Elworthy both shoot 97 on black in the morning, needing another 97 on red to catch Nick. James Atwood goes 2 better, shooting 99 on red.
Well, to be fair, I didn't think I was going to win it, to be fair, with James's 99. And he's a great shot, and he's got the mindset for it, but unfortunately he didn't do it.
As the final squads shoot round, spirits remain high despite the mud and wet. John Porter is shooting well, on his way to winning colts with a score of 188. As the final scores go up on the wall, one by one, the potential challengers drop away, leaving Nick the clear winner. His Browning XS Laminate has done it again.
I've basically shot Brownings most of my life. They're just a good, reliable gun, and the barrels go in the same place, which is, quite important.
Among the other prize winners is Fern Lancaster, whose score of 176 has won the ladies by a good margin. Next year is the event's Silver Jubilee, and the organisers are promising a few special treats for their loyal shooters. Follow There's a link to Farming Britain below. Shooting Next, Ground on Facebook back for details.
to the fine art of shooting
and for
straight,
more about Browning
it's
shotguns,
the Essex
go to
Masters.
browning.eu.
Well done everyone who took part in that. Now, many of us started our love of shooting as a kid with an air rifle. Terry Doe reckons it's vital to get that first session right. Here he is with the young victim, Rhys Chart.
Yay! Perfect hit, mate. Hello, welcome to my club at Bisley, the centre of all things shooting. I'm here today to do the most significant job in shooting, and that is teaching a junior. This junior is a little bit more significant and a little bit more special because my little mate Rhys here suffers from a thing called ARFID, which is a food intake disorder, which has all sorts of knock-on effects. While they get a real good handle on it and get him back to where they need to get him, Rhys is restricted from physical activity. So he can't go running around playing football or doing stuff that we did when we were 12, like Rhys. He needs something to maybe take him away from the Xbox, get him out in the fresh air, give him excitement, reward, a bit of responsibility, all the wonderful things that we get from shooting. And he's going to get it via this. This is the first view, first time out of the Pressy Hole Sports Minotaur bullpup. This is the collaboration between Air Arms and Pressy Hole Sports, and what a little tool it is. It's a perfect teaching medium.
Wow.
It's single shot and multi-shot. I've been testing it. These two groups are phenomenal, and not just me. Some of the club members have tested it, and they were doing one-holers at 25 and sort of 3/4 of an inch groups at 55 yards with this tiny little thing. 500 quid, brilliant. So with that all done, we're going to get Rhys knocking over a few targets. He's had his safety lecture. He knows what we expect of him. He'll be totally supervised throughout it all because he's below 14 years of age. But he knows that we'll expect him to not need supervision. So the first great reward of shooting is already implanted. We're going to trust him, we know he's going to behave himself, and he's going to have a good time. There's a school of thought that says you should start juniors off with a simple spring gun. I don't agree with that. Spring guns are too hard to get instant success out of. That's what we want. We want instant reward for this to keep the enthusiasm there. This will give that. This is a recoilless pre-charged pneumatic. On top is a Hawk Air Max 2-7x32, which is a lovely little wide angle, not too high a mag. It's a superb little scope, absolutely perfect for what we're doing. We could have the magazine, the multi-shot magazine in there. I don't want to do that. I want to keep things nice and slow and deliberate. I also want to teach Reese how to cock and load this thing himself. So we're going to go via the single shot tray, which comes with the rifle. Right, Reese, get yourself behind that. Right. Get your hand there, finger off the trigger to start with. This hand supporting there, lean nice and forward. Tell me when you can see that target with the black diamond and the yellow centre. Got it? Right, we're going to cock that now. I'm going to lift your fashionable cap.
Thank you.
And put a pellet in. Now, nice and easy. Crosshair in the centre of the disc. Nice and
Finger
easy.
on trigger.
Then squeeze the trigger. Oh, yes. Yeah, get in. Nice one. Now, that wasn't too bad, was it? Yeah. You even did a little air punch there. Well done, mate. Right, all you got to do is that loads and loads of times.
Okay.
3 times the distance. Okay, you reckon you can do it?
I'm going to try at least.
Yeah, I'm going to try at least. Right, finger off the trigger. Let's go again. Draw that back. Put that in. Back on. Right, nice and steady. Now, what I want you to do now is try and relax everything. Everything relaxed, nice and calm, till those crosshairs aren't bouncing around at all. Then shoot when you're ready. Oh, bit low on that one. Now, what do you think went wrong there? What did you do? What do you think you did?
I think I overthought it a bit.
You overthought it. I could see the tension was building up and all. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Right, let me redo it again.
All right.
But it's already fun though, eh?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'd say so. Right, now, crosshair, centre of the disc, nice and calm, nice and relaxed. Only in the centre of that disc, that yellow disc. And there we go again.
Yeah.
Not too bad, eh? Well, Reese is already knocking over targets at 12 yards. No problem at all. We're going to double that range now nearly and risk him on a 20-yard rat. The thing is here, I need to keep the enthusiasm going. I don't think there's a lot of problem there with Reese. He's the guy with the Duracell battery here. But you need to maintain the enthusiasm. If it's like hard work for a junior, then you're doing it wrong. Okay, so it needs to be fun. Ready, Reese? You ready for that 20-yard rat? Okay, cock and load. Right, crosshair right in the middle of the yellow disc on the top, in the middle of the rat's body, and squeeze the trigger. Yay! Perfect hit, mate.
Get in.
Well, get in, apparently. Get in. Right. Well done. That's 20 yards. We're going to reset that, so cock and load again.
All right.
Okay. Finger on the trigger. How good are you? How good are you?
How good you say I am.
Very, very good. Very good. So, we're going to have to be doing this a bit regularly, mate.
All right. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, listen, we can say to your mum, it's therapy, right? It's therapy, and you have to do it.
Yeah.
I will say that from first impressions of him, he understands it. He's very analytical. He understands what he needs to do. He's getting a great deal of fun out of knocking targets over. And I think we've got some achievement going on. We've got some enthusiasm, and I don't think you're going to have to persuade him too much to get back out on the range. So we'll catch up with you a few lessons down the road, and we'll see what it's doing. At the moment, the signs are really good.
Oh, it's great. And as I said, for us parents, just getting him out and getting him doing this, and if I can just get him to have that desire, doing something that isn't going to use loads of physical energy, but is going to get his brain working outside of an Xbox and a tablet,
brilliant.
You know, all that. Brilliant.
This is it.
Absolutely
well done, mate.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Terry and Reese. Next, staying on air guns, James Head looks at PCP pumps.
So your choices for home filling your air rifle, air pistol would be a pump, an air bottle, or a compressor. You could have all three if you wanted, why not? Be greedy. But they all have different purposes. The pump, you're topping up your rifle very quickly. You don't really want to be pumping up your gun from empty. I mean, if I did, maybe I'd look a little bit slimmer. The bottles are probably the most popular choice, very easy, very simple, but they are a little bit heavier. But obviously the cost is down that little bit less, and it's most places you can get them filled up from a dive shop, gun shop, places like that. The compressor is for the serious air gunner who is happy to fill his guns up at home, doesn't want the faff of going to get a bottle filled or test or anything like that. He can just plug his compressor in, plug his gun in, top his gun up. And a lot of those compressors also run off a car battery, so if you're going to go out in the wilderness for weeks, you can run it off your car.
For Crackshot's full range, go to crackshot.uk. Thanks, James, and for a longer version of that video on our Fieldtester channel, where James looks in detail at the difference between and benefits of pumps, bottles and compressors, there's a link below. Next, from pumping air with one James to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube with another, brought to you by James Marchington, it's Hunting YouTube.
This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the latest and best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Here's what I've picked for you this week. First up, Tutu Plinkster takes extreme measures when his friend's log cabin is attacked by carpenter bees. He loads his revolver with shot shells and shoots them out of the air. Next, Owen Beardsmore from Service UK sends us this film of driven wild boar hunting in the snowy forests of Sweden on a media trip organised by Aimpoint to showcase their Acro C2 red dot sight. South African hunter Peter from Impact Shooting demonstrates how shooting off a tripod lets him take accurate shots at long range when the vegetation doesn't allow him to get down on the bipod. Travis Price heads to Alaska to hunt grizzly bears on the blueberry-covered slopes, flying into a remote spot and camping out for an epic hunt lasting several days. Chris Waters has been busy working on Season 2 of The Huntsman. In this one, he joins his friend Bill in South Australia, hunting red stags and fallow bucks in the rut. Meanwhile, in the UK, Andy Crow joins Rob Speed and friends for a laughter-filled day of simulated game shooting at Patson Hill Farm in Dorset. In this film, released to mark World Curlew Day, gamekeeper Jamie returns to Langham, which was managed as a driven grouse moor until it was bought out in 2021 and turned into a nature reserve. The changes since then are quite an eye-opener. And finally, staying with grouse moor management, Tom Bolton reads a moving poem, Call of the Moors, which was written by his great-grandfather in 1918 and celebrates the unique moorland wildlife. Well, that's it for this week. I've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you'd like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, jamesm@fieldsportschannel.tv.
Well, that's it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please whiz over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click the like us there on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, pop your email address into our register page and we'll contact you about this show. Fieldsports Britain, it's at 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday, and this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.